Hello! Hi! Hi Sajini, thank you for the lurk! Hi Amanda! I'm tired boss, everyone always waits for starting soon, but nobody ever asks how starting soon. Usually it's troublesome. Hi Kaiser! Hello everybody, I just realized I should have just put Diane in the title. Because it's too long. Hello! I'm not dying, sorry. I plugged in my camera to a different USB port and YouTube Studio didn't see it for some reason. That's so weird. But we are here. It's fine. How you guys doing? How's your day? How's your Thursday? I hope you don't mind me starting a little late. Actually, but you know what? Technically speaking, we started the same time last time, considering the fact that I spent over an hour troubleshooting the freaking emulators. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. This is really just chatting too already. I know, right? Where is it? If chatting is so good, where's just chatting too? Huh? Huh? I'm waiting. I just solved. I'm pretty good. I took a nap earlier and I'm still pretty groggy, but I'll be okay, don't worry. Just you know. That's just the feeling of freaking fall. And cold and dark outside, you know, all of that stuff. I really don't like fall. And all I want to do during this time is just sleep. But we will not be doing that. Too busy. Ugh. I wanted to say something and then I forgot. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We will be hopefully finishing Metal Gear today. I don't know if exactly finishing. Technically, I am like in the middle of the game somewhere, but you know, I didn't want to like leave half an hour of the game for the next stream. That would be silly. But I just want to say that I really am enjoying the game. I was very much afraid of maybe not really feeling it that much because, you know, sometimes the older games, they tend to be a bit convoluted and not really intuitive with their controls or with what they really want you to do. What? Too late. So I was like, heck, I'm not sure about this. It's different, and but that's when you know, that's how I felt when I was first interested in Metal Gear, which was, I believe, 2019? 18? I don't know, I think 19. So that's when I first started, like, you know, actually looking into playing it, because I had a couple of friends who really liked the game, and I knew about the series, but I've never really gotten around to playing that because I just never had a console that would have those games, and I always was like, I don't know, I have so many other things to do, you know, just classic things. So I just kind of ignored it for a bit, and finally it came the time when I decided, you know what, I actually want to play these. So as I was looking about what game was first, I found Metal Gear, and I'm like, what the heck is this MSX console? It's technically like it is a console, but it like looks more like something like Commodore because it had a keyboard, which I only learned about it recently. That's well, like yesterday, or after the stream actually, because I was like, I don't understand why does it have so many buttons. And I'm like, oh wait, this game didn't really use a pad, did it? So that was it. Is it Choose Your Own Adventure book? That's a direct sequel to this game. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Sounds fun. But yeah, I found out about Metal Gear and I found out about this weird ass console and I was like, what is this? How do I play this? And you know, if I did my research, I would have found it, but I kind of was like, I don't know, I just really want to play Metal Gear Solid. That's the one people talk about all the time. I want to play that one, and I just kind of didn't really give it a chance. And I just watched a playthrough. There's this, you know, there's this one specific channel on YouTube. I think it does long plays, and that's what I watched from Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. I don't remember Metal Gear 2, to be honest. I remember Metal Gear for some reason. And I was like, wow, oh, okay, I'm glad I didn't play this at the time. And then I played Metal Gear Solid so shortly after. I think it was December of 2019. No, December of 1910. And yeah, and then I finished Metal Gear Solid 1 and then I didn't continue because Christmas and other things and I don't really know what the heck. Also, hi Eve! It's just now, send me the ping. It's okay, we are just starting. If you think the MSX is weird, the fact you can play Virtual Boy games on 3DS with near perfect emulation is a tad weirder. That's true. Freaky. But yeah, I'm really like at the time I don't know why I was I didn't want. I think, you know, I don't think it's the fact that I didn't want to play it necessarily. It wasn't the fact that, you know, it's an older game or anything of that sort. I think I was just impatient at the time because I was like, I just want to play Metal Gear Solid. And I didn't know there's older games in this series, so I didn't play them. But, you know, time has passed, I've played different games during all of these years, and now I figured, you know what? We gotta. And now as I'm playing them, I'm like, oh my god, this is fun. This reminds me of the time when I was a baby and I played the freaking bootleg NES. And yeah. And yeah, I'm having fun. So there is that. So yeah, the games are quite an experience. We will be playing those. There will come a time when we play them. You should emulate the end. Oh yeah. There are adapters for the controller too. Oh my god. The CDI controller? I'm scared. But yeah, we were playing those, so let me check something real quick. Excel open up. I'm so yawning. I'm not even sleepy anymore. I had a nap. It just my body is confused. Metal Gear, then we have Prince of Persia. Snake's Revenge. Oh, that's an NES game. What should I even? Why is that on my list? Do I want to play that? I could for the fun, for the lulz, as people say, but I'm not sure. I know it's not a good game. And then we have Final Fantasy 3, Metal Gear 2, Final Fantasy 4, A Link to the Past, Final Fantasy 5. Mario is missing. Syndicate, Link's Awakening, Prince of Persia 2, and only then there's Zelda the Wand of Gamelon. So, and the Faces of Evil. So still a bunch of games before that. So probably will take me a couple more months before we get there. But, you know, maybe in spring we will enjoy ourselves some CDI games. In the 4th grade? Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm just waiting for the Christmas sale so I can get the rest of the games. Think of the controller is quite a device. Okay, I will. I was about to do it after the stream, but I'm probably gonna forget, so might as well do it now. CDI, Philips, CDI, controller. What the fuck is this? What? Oh my god, I also... What the fuck is a roller controller? What is that for? For babies? That's what you need to play Zelda with? With that? Hold on. Let me open it up here. With this? With this? You want me to play with this? What the fuck? No! I'm not going to be spending money on this game! Looks like an old TV remote. It does, but also has some cursed energies to it. What the heck? You should play Link's Awakening, but not the DX version, if only for some of the translations. Which one is the DX one? I mean, it's a remaster? Or like the one with color? Oh, yeah, don't worry, we'll play the Game Boy one. The one without the color. Yeah. We don't see colors in here. You play the one without colors. Yeah, let me get rid of this cursed artifact. The GB version has some Bungan transitions. Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, we will be playing that. Hold on, let me just do something real quick and I am ready to start. Just need to, you know, send the freaking notifications because I forgot. But yeah, I'm having fun with the game. I was afraid that it might be a bit difficult because, you know, especially since people said that it's difficult without walkthrough, and I was like, maybe it's the fact that I did watch somebody play it before. Although, listen, it's not like I remember anything. I mean, that was many years ago. But I don't really feel it's that convoluted. Maybe I'm weird, maybe something's wrong with me. But it's fine. I mean, for today I have opened the walkthrough in the background, so in case I need it for some reason, I do have it ready. But so far so good. Things are working good. Well. They were removed from the X version? That's silly. Why would they do that? Wait until you get to the second one? Ooh. Also, should I play the NES one too? Because I have it on my list, I don't know why. But I I don't know. I wonder if I should play it for the laughs. Even if just that. Six Revenge was so bad they made Metal Gear 2. You know, it's just so I get to actually experience a bad game. No, I'm joking, but I don't know. Part of me is like, what if? What if I did that? Oh, I opened the wrong emulator. Hold on. That's not the one either. That's Intellivision. Hold on. Where did I put it? There it is. Okay, okay. Six Revenge is... I don't know why it's called that, to be honest. N-E! N-E! No Carter storage found. Wake the fuck up. Oh my god, what the heck's happening? Chris! Hi. How are you doing? Quick load state. Ooh. Chris is here too. Chris is here too. You lurk. Okay. Enjoy the lurk. Your EP. I see. I see. Pop pop pop. Doing decently. Konami were putting out bangers one after another during these times. Yeah. What? As you mentioned NES, the weirdest stuff I have ever seen for it is a Windows 95 bootleg and a straight up working operating system someone made. I think I saw it. I saw it before. I don't know why though. Why would you even want that? This is Big Boss. Oh, I already talked to you, Big Boss, about it. We don't need this. Ah! Which one is loud again? F7? Yes, okay. Excuse me. Alt F7. I found another part-time job and now I make the same money as before. Ooh, congratulations! I knew a guy who modded his XP to look like 95. People are crazy. Imagine how powerful an operating system we would have gotten if the NES OS guy would have teamed up with Terry Davis. Oh, that would be interesting. I would like to see that. Decibels! Hi! Oh fuck, I forgot about these freaks. Stop shooting me! There's like a dead zone in here. I found it last time. Whoops. Stop it. Very gone but not forgotten. Yeah. Helicopter! Helicopter! Ah! We did it. Cheating, but doesn't matter. I've seen someone make a Discord client for Temple OS, but it's insane because the OS shouldn't even have internet access. Yeah, what? It's not cheating if you don't put a code. Exactly. I watched the Temple OS video not that long ago, actually. And yeah. It's sad how that ended. Crocodile. Wait, Metal Gear, my category. My stupid brain, what are you doing? We need to play a game in the game category. Real game is eliminate dogs without remorse? No. I'm not a real gamer, I cannot play games. I've been scarred by Lara Croft. She's influencing my brain chemistry. Open the freaking door! What? Ah! That's what this was for. Oh no, the truck is moving! Ah! Oh, you get back here! Okay, I wasn't supposed to do that. Lara Croft affected my brain chemistry like ladies are. What? There we go! Card acquired. Ah. I'm sorry, dog. Actually, I could. I could call people, why not? Everyone hates me. They never pick up my phone calls. Petro Petrovich? I'm too late. Is this the OG? It is! Hi, Fira! You only play old games. Oh, there was a door here? How have I never noticed? Oh, are you a Petrovich? I'm saved! Petr Petrovich was moved to Building 2. Building 2 is 10 kilometers north of here. Ah, fuck! Oh, that's where I am. Basler open next. Okay, I'm crossing all this. The level design is scheisse. Don't be so mean to this game. How much Metal Gear you know? I don't know a lot, which is why I'm playing games. Because I think it's more fun this way. I've only played the first Metal Gear Solid before this, so that's all I basically am aware of. I'm panicked because we have to play Adventures of Link tomorrow. Oh no! Funny you mentioned that. We just talked a minute ago about how I want to play the CDI games too. We'll get there. Eventually. Wait, I need to get to the basement. Get up. Okay, thank you. Guys, we need to check all of the different floors since I'm about to pack up to a different freaking facility. Unless I'm supposed to come back here, but who knows? The bad thing about playing this in 2 days is that I keep forgetting everything. Ooh, what's this? Body armor. Oh, finally! God damn it, dog. There's one more door that was closed off in here. Yeah, it's just one. Ah! No! No, don't tell me! Even card 4 is not good enough! God damn it! God damn it! And here I thought I was done. Never. You're never free from the pain. Hold on, I'm to address myself. I'm getting annoyed. Do-do-do. Dog. Do, do, do. Do, do. Wait, this is this floor. We've been here already. I'm sneaking? You're neaking? Don't be neaking. You know that the annoying part is I forgot what I did. And what I didn't do. EP. Look at this EP man. Wrong button. I know where I can go, but I want to check out more things, you know. Like this thing. What is this? Wait, have I been here already? I've been here already! Shoot! We've been here? And we're fascinated by the incompetence of these guards. Vaya! This is what I get being stupid. So that was just a shortcut. The best soldiers with the less advanced senses. Sentence. Brain. Okay, I'll stop fucking around. Ads over? Yay! Welcome out of ad hell. Oh, this is where I was supposed to go. I was like, the fuck? What was this one place? Hold on. You stop fucking around, you found out? Exactly. Mines! Where'd us go? What the fuck? Okay. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty okay. How are you doing? Hold on, we need to call Diane. This is steep. Fuck! Diane? Diane's taking a shower now. Again? Guys, you only got to talk to Diane once. Once! Singular time! This is Resistance leader, Schneider. The mine detector is on the rooftop. Over. I already got that! Stop that! Wait. Plastic bomb. Oh my god, just hit a bomb! I want to play Deus Ex. Not now, but I would play it happily. Sure, soon. What the fuck? Looping screens! P-bomb stands for piss bomb? Hope not. I'm a bit concerned about my dad's health, but otherwise quite okay. Thanks for asking. Oh no, I hope he's fine. Oh no, the truck is moving! It's a transformer! Wait. Wait. I've been here already. What the fuck? Nani the fuck? Eh? The fuck they want me to do? Go on foot? Don't think so. But who the fuck knows these games? Oh my, seriously? Snack. I don't know why I said snack, but sure is. Hi! How should I read your name? Is it Sue or is it Sue? My brain wants to read as Shushan. So, just get driving. No, what are you saying? Snack. Did you read the backstory or are you going in with no protection? What backstory? A shoe? And I actually nailed it? Ah, nice! The one in the manual is silly. Tell me. Tell me. I think I've read about it before, but I don't remember anything. What the heck? You can't just do that. Oh! They're cheating. How? Wait, I'm stupid. Hold on. Are you holding? Are you holding? Oh, seriously? Ah, what the hell? Who's aiming at me? Yeah, mostly old games. I don't know. I enjoy those. The whole world nuclear disarmed and this army stole a nuke shooting robot and are hiding in Africa. Oh, yeah. Don't be mean to the game. It doesn't know anything. I know what I'm doing, by the way. Don't think too hard about what you see here. This screen reminds me of Half-Life. Pew 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 pew. Oh! The fuck? Actually... Maybe... What? Why am I in a box? That's not gonna protect you! We should call, actually. Melgear, what the heck? Big Boss is ghosting us. And, Hi, this is Diane. Beat the tank with mines. Bye. Don't know if you're considered retro at this point, but I play games from Y2K. If they're considered. Ah, you don't- I don't know. I hope not. That would be so weird. I do like those too. I mostly started playing all the games because I was interested in those I've missed as a child, but then I went even deeper and it's just how it ended. Hello! Look at those. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. God damn it. I think they're gonna tell me that. 2005 is the current retro date? What? I love the Half-Life, you fucked up my face. No! No! No, that's not Half-Life! I will refuse! I will never accept that! 2005 was 20 years ago? Jesus. Come on! How many mines do you need to eat them? Retro is the SNES and Genesis, PS2 and Xbox are pretty... Yeah, they're pretty new, like came out, what, yesterday? Ah! How many mines do you need to eat before you fuck off? Go further, up! Panzer War. Panzer War? What? Come on. Come. Step into it. You want to be fine and that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. Panzer War is what they say in Cancer Panzer. Oh gosh. Oh, you cannot go behind it. What a shame. It was a good bed. What a shame. What the fuck? It's casually referencing Deus Ex. Oh! You should just play Deus Ex. No. I already played it.
Hello.
I've been yelled at for being loud. It's not even late, what the heck? Go away! Oh my god, I left the screen. Kill me. This is more annoying than the helicopter fight somehow. Come on. 1, 2. Hey! Seriously? Can you? Oh. No, I was just curious. Why can't I just use the freaking rockets? Enjoy. Consume. What happens to the grenades? Who eats them in between? Stupid me. Tanks are rocket resistant? I know, right? What? Since when? Go back. Go back. Blah, 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 blah. I will fight this tank. And I will succeed. Don't touch me. Since 1917, when they made them. Oh my god. I didn't ask it! I know what I'm saying. Go back, please. Go further back. I swear. Thank you. I don't know why I'm thanking the tank, but it doesn't matter. How many more do you need? Oh, it's spying? I thought I somehow misread that and I thought you said they made it for speeding and I was like, speeding tank. Sue, thank you so much for that follow. Hey, I won't have enough freaking grenades for this. Grenades, the mines. I'm already out. What the fuck? Did I do it wrong? Fuck it, plastic bomb. Is this chill? I'm glad. This doesn't work. Your Sylvester Stallone looking ass is a fresh week. You will eat all of my weapons. What are these? This looks like weapon crates, but they're not. Enjoy grenades, fucker. Do I need to maybe place it underneath? Want to know what turned 7 today? I'm scared. What? No, sorry, no. Your son? Whose son? Snake's son? Snake, do you have a son? Elder Scrolls 6 trailer? Oh my god! This is crazy! It just works! Oh my god. Schroeder, hi! Guys, I'm confused. Fuck it. For once, I will actually check out the walkthrough. Just to make sure I'm not stupid. I'm afraid you don't have enough mines for this? Okay, walkthroughs are useless, they don't tell me nothing. And, this sucks. Stop shooting me! Hold on. Oh. Walkthrough says this is a very short fight. Sure. That's not what I asked, though. That's not what I meant to do! That's so funny though. Snake, you pooped up mine. What the heck is that? What? Oh, I'm pressing wrong buttons. I'm trying to remember the fake country you're in. Oh my god, I keep pressing the wrong things. I'm all the fake countries. Mine 9. Mine 14. $15 is the maximum I can have. This is stupid. If you ask me. But nobody asks me. You shouldn't ask me. That's a mistake. Okay. Attempt number 2. I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. Hey, back up. Back up. Thank you. Now you can come back. Get hurted. You got hurted. Congratulations. Yes. Yes. Yay. Fuck up! Tank boss fight sucks. I just want to run around and look into rooms and call Diane even though she never picks up. Can you? No, I tried and just there's not enough space. You ever ate a Russian? I did not. I have not. I've watched videos of people eating them because I was curious, but I even if I had one, I don't think I would eat it. Oh, I don't know. Part of me is curious about it. Have you ever ate a nation? Nation? Don't eat nations. A ration? Pew 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 pew. Finally! Here we go. Oh yeah. Thank you. Damn, this game explains the US still had the homeland duration and the 24 fingers of death. What the heck? What's that? I don't think I've ever heard of those. She only picks up my calls if I'm fighting a freaking big tank, helicopter, or whatever else machinery. I think she doesn't care. I love looping scenery. A foxhounder has infiltrated. Don't let him pass. Oh no, I shot myself again. This big boss. That's a checkpoint. Wear an enemy uniform and infiltrate. Call on frequency 12013 for my one. Over. Okay, so from now on we have 12013. Okay. Okay. No. This is Resistance Leader Schneider. The enemy uniform is in building first basement. Call on frequency 12026 from on. Oh my goodness. That's stupid because it's like, oh, you walked all the way over here? Haha, now you have to go back for the freaking uniform. So I'm pretty happy I actually checked that out before. Hi, this is Diane. Call on frequency 12091 from now on. Call me later. Bye. Why is it so far? God damn it. Are you going to Haymail Gear 2 then? Is a lot of backing, going back and forth? Hello? You tell me to infiltrate, but these people still don't like me, even though I have the uniform. The fuck do you mean? How about you don't put down these lines? What? I'm confused. Pizza Amor. I have seen the Pizza Amory. What the heck? Okay, I'm really confused about this. It's like they don't care, but they also do care about the fuck. What? What? I don't get it. Why can't I make a step here? Did you try not farting loud while walking past them? Stop it! It's like they can see more than 1 pixel ahead? Damn. Have they evolved? Do they have eyes behind their backs or something? What's going on? What? Do I have to find them? Fuck. Who called me? Is this where I've been betrayed? God damn it.
I see you're trapped in my gay and stupid maze again.
No, why is somebody calling me? I don't understand. I'm so confused. Fuck it. Show me walkthrough. I like this walkthrough. It says, should I tell you something that's about to make you really mad? Sure. Outside Building 2 are these guys. I wonder, would they have just let Snake in if their CEO hadn't told them not to? And and then there's this big boss calls straight away. I'm surprised he didn't forget to tell Snake how to dress himself, or what a checkpoint is, or something else. Need a specific item to get past here? You don't. Anyone you don't have? What the fuck? I'm gonna lose my shit. I thought and here I was like, oh, I'm glad I checked everything beforehand. No, I'm stupid, I didn't. I was like, I'm not gonna waste your time watching me run around. And then it turns out I should have. No, no, what? Fine, whatever. Might as well check everything, right? I need to stop yelling, by the way. I'm gonna get yelled at. I'm gonna get in trouble. Did you try Wumba mode? What the fuck are you talking about to me? What are those words? I like your funny words, Magic Man. Bum 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 bum. The truck is moving. W for Wimbo? What are you guys saying to me? What are those words? I'm stupid, I told you. You should have known that. Turn on the console immediately? Why? I know for a fact you had SpongeBob in Poland. I never watched it though, I didn't like it. I'm sorry. I have not been a SpongeBob kid. Sleepy. Snake, stop running right! Stop running right! Stop it! Oh, there you go. Ah! Fun fact, Liberation is a canon that Vietnam. What do you mean ear food? Are you sure? That's what you meant to say? Don't put food in your ears. Fuck. So here we are again, running around like crazy, like crazy. Doo-doo. Mama, ooh, I don't wanna die. I am Rocky Balboa! Fuck you! I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. Snake has psychosis. Starting to get System 2 flashbacks, we're searching for that one key. Oh my god, don't remind me. The thing about that one key in System Shock is that I'm stupid and I missed it and I just threw it out of my freaking pockets because my pockets were full. Doesn't 8 is almost retro? What the fuck are you guys talking about? Oops. It'd be funny if they caught me second time here. Anyway, this is not the floor. Now we know. 2008 was 40 years ago? Jesus Christ. Do, 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 do. Wait. Eepee. This man is EP. You're also EP? Action espion. Oh, wait, this goes around. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Fight it! Why did I do that? No idea. Let me do it again. No. I like how that switch magically comes back after throwing it with a freaking missile. Look, more EP guys. Just taking a nap. They're just taking a nap. Blem, blem. I deserve that. Whoa. This version of the game is a little different than how I remember it from the NES. The NES game is something else, from what I've heard. From what I know, we do not speak of the NES version. Come to me. Let me shoot you. Why did these guys change colors? The whole question. I've been here, I believe. People read to symbolize how much they love being evil. I almost read as hate being evil, and I was about to say, wow, that makes so much sense. I love being evil. Come back. Let me punch you. Right, we can stock up on ammunition. Well, while we're at it. Keycard. Wrong card. Just getting hurted. Rocchetto. You play any CRPG game? Yeah, I played Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I like that. I'll play more of them, but they're really long. Baldur's Gate is fun. It is! I love Baldur's Gate. It was also... I haven't played Fable. I forgot about it. For gore. A can of food. Game lets you be fat in a second? What? Okay, so we've been here. Oh no! Snake, stop running to the side! It was an accident! You guys even can comment here. What are you? Why the alarm? I hate my life. You keep fine with the first one too. Fuck. Ah! Stop walking to the side! There we go. Boinky sploinky. So weird. Oh my god. Don't call me. Oops. I'm busy. I'm busy. Are you telling me I've... What the fuck is the thing I'm looking for? It's on the roof? Or is it in the basement? I thought I saw everything in the basement. Hey, guy! Hi! BB suit. It's a suit. Hello, how are you doing? Ah! God damn it. Where is the thing I've missed? I'm gonna go crazy. Crazy. Have I been here? Go insane? No! I have been here! Probably something that I've been stupid about. And that I've like been there in the very beginning, but I missed it. And now I'm running around for no reason. Other than, you know, just being stupid. Fuck it. There's nothing here! What the heck? What did I miss? Wait. I have a feeling. And it's not a good feeling. Alright. Where the fuck? Never mind! I mean, I still have a feeling, but I just did it wrong. I give up. Show me the walkthrough. What the fuck have I missed? What have I missed? Show me the guy's balls now. That's all his empathy. Don't forget to change his number. Diane has nothing to say but changes her number. Snake's entire support staff have new frequencies now, but I have no idea why. It can't be anti-piracy because all the numbers are in the game, not in the manual. There's no apparent story reason for it. Ah, what the heck. Wait. What? I indeed don't have the uniform. What the fuck? It's a different item that I picked up. What? I'm stupid, guys. Oh my god. An absolute idiot. A buffoon. Made a goofy goober. Remember how I said, haha, it would be so funny if I didn't do that one thing before and I had to backtrack. Guess what? I didn't do that one thing before. I did a different thing. I picked a different item that I was supposed to pick. I have 932 points. And? Where are you going with that? I don't know if robots can get goopy, but robots can... ghosts can anything? Probably, yeah. Wait, is this thing? But I can't get in here. Am I stupid? Like, it wouldn't let me in. In case we didn't have it, go back. Go back. Rooftop, no. Go back. Mazes and machine guns. Oh no. Okay, I found where it is in the walkthrough, but... Oh my god. This is an item in the adventure game puzzle solution vein. Everything in this game is pretty grounded though. I think Metal Gear 2 was the bullshit puzzle king of the series. Oh no. Oh no. What? Explode the wall just north of there? The shoot gunner... What? What the fuck? Explode the wall? How was I... What the fuck? Why would I think of doing that? Am I stupid? Just north of where the shoot gunner fight. Wasn't that here? What? Ah? What? Where is the shoot gunner? Eyes. Shoot gunner wall. Oh my god. What? What the fuck? There's some more hidden rooms in this fucking maze? What? Commission now. Why would I think of doing that? You know what? I give you guys I returned the honor to you guys when I said that. Why would you guys want me to do to use a walkthrough? I now understand. I now understand. Oh my god, not the plastic explosive. Dude. No. I found another thing by accident. Because there was a whole map. What is this? There's nothing. This is garbage. Guys are so full. Where? You know what? While we are at it, I'm gonna check what opens that door. Because why the fuck not? Might as well. Just so I know. For later. Basement. Basement. Basement! L. What is L? What the fuck? Okay, it's after returning. That's all I need to know. God damn it, why did you clip it? Wait, too far. No, that wasn't the correct floor. Saru, help me. Wish I could, I have no idea what's going on. No, it's okay, not with the game. I need help with my brain. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Oh god. Why does that uniform look so suspicious? I wonder how someone could finish this game back in the days when online walkthroughs were a thing. You have to... A lot of things needed you to buy a freaking manual. No manual, well... a guidebook. Oi. Okay, go in. Yeah, all of that. I hate my life. Hold on, I'm just adjusting the numbers. You know what? Actually, I think I know why they changed the frequencies. I think it's probably because you'll have to use the radio again after returning from this building too, and it's done so that you actually get like the new messages instead of the old ones. I don't know, just my theory. Wee. I'm sorry. I gave theory. Wee. Wait, wrong. That one's picking up. Why do they let me in here, but now they, like, they don't like my... They don't like me anymore! Oops. God damn it. Why are they green? Have they turned into Ninja Turtles? Doo doo. Come on. Ah! What the heck? Ah, Contra. Woohoo. Ah! Diane, help me! Just stop screaming. Not picking up. It's not picking up. The fuck? Oops, not this. Why is nobody picking up? Ammunition. What the fuck? How am I supposed to get out of here? Actually, no, never mind. Like this, I guess. Oh no, my box is wet. I don't know what's up with me. What is wrong with me? Have you tried not dying? Not yet. God damn it. I got confused with all of my buttons. You want me to draw a thing? What the fuck? Maybe not this. But... What the fuck? Okay, hold on, let me do the doodle. Doodle! Not this. Why is it so big? Jesus. What is he even using? Like a radio? Like... a headphone? Walkie-talkie? Look at his big ass shoes. What is he wearing? Who the fuck knows what he's wearing? Wearing something. This is a suit. Oh my god. If you have stripes, this is your outfit. I will even use blue to signify his tears. There you go. This is my beautiful sketch. Ignore the fact that one of his legs is smaller. And that's it for COVID. Oh my god. Absolute cinema. Alright, let me check what the fuck I'm supposed to do here. This belongs in the fridge! Oh god. Pretty bin here. We are inside. The bulldozer! Bull tank. Nobody back home has anything to say with this one? It was pretty simple. It was those are the rolls I do. If it hits Snake, he dies. Wow. Ivory! They just shoot it with grenades? Oh, never mind. Okay. I don't know why I didn't try that. That should be obvious. No! You're leaving! Oh. Okay. Seriously? And here I was like... losing my brain cells. Ah! Why does it change? Elevator. Whoa. Diane hates me. Only just woke up from my nightmare, still trying to remember how to brain. Oh no! I hope you don't get more nightmares. That sounds terrible. Oh well, it picks up. What the fuck? Can you not take a freaking breath? Oh. Where are my key cards? Open up. God damn it. My keys don't work. You know, part of you, some of you are probably thinking, why are you even trying to use these old keys? I don't know. I just want to open a door. Where are all the doors? Oh, what? Okay. Well, what the fuck is that? An antenna? It is an antenna! Hello? This is a big boss. You had a jamming attack. That antenna fixed it. Over. Oh, I see. That's what you're claiming it was. Whoa. Alien. Uh-oh. I saved with the button being pressed again. You make a lot of ghost sound. Thank you. I'm glad you think so. Door! God damn it. FBI, open up! Boss! Why are the doors closed? Ah, fuck it. No, I loathed it like an idiot. Never mind, I guess. Before it was for the antenna, others choosing to be mean. Yes. Why? Stab. Fuck you. Give me more key cards. I want to open doors. Do you know how boring it is not being able to open doors? Oops. Can I find like a breathing tank or something? An oxygen tank? Breathing tank, exactly. What the fuck? Cure yourself? Never! I will die. What the fuck? Why can't I use it? You cannot use rations in the water! I don't even think I'm supposed to be doing this. No. What the fuck? Yeah, try eating underwater. What? Why not? Open the door! I don't want to punch walls again. Game, why are you like this? Everything sucks. Too many times this was a solution? I hate this. Yes, I will punch a door. I think that's the solution that I'm looking for. guys, I'm stupid. I forgot there was an elevator before. Yeah, whatever. Since food came up, what hot sauce is your favorite? Don't equip your antenna? Are you serious? Oh my god! I hate it. The north elevator only goes up. Only goes up? This is a big boss, I forgot to tell you. Be careful of the infrared beams. Use IR goggles. You already have... I mean, like, that's a bit too late to tell me that? Sure. And this thing... This is... What do you mean it only goes up? I hate my life. Hate everything. Everything pain. Everything pain? What? Music pain. They'll give Phantom's pain to Phantom Zero. Oh my god. I've been the Phantom all alone. The Phantom's menace. Oh wait, that's a different thing. Never mind. I was about to say snack for some reason. I shall eat these bullets. This is Schneider. The elevator only goes. You already told me that! Fish! What? Why are they so blue? Oops. I'm blue da booty ba do ba do ba do be ba do ba do do be da ba ba. Back. Does Diane only ever pick up if you're in a boss fight? What? Who are these? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the hell? I don't... Listen, I am fine with Schneider not being really most helpful, but like... What the fuck is this? What is a cyber? I don't know. Is this just... This is just the other side, isn't it? Ow. What is the point? She's a star, a ghost star possessed in a way. No, they're not asking about me. No, but they're not asking about me. They're asking about those guys. What the fuck is this? This is the point at which the game starts being bullshit, I suppose. I like how I punched him and he didn't even react. Why is it red? Roof. Come here. Why are there so many of them? Can they stop coming? Coming! What the fuck was that? The elevator gets longer if you pull on it? What are you saying? What are you guys saying? I'm losing my mind. Wait, what? Did they actually see me or... I'm so confused, me too. No, I'm... well... never mind. I'm safe. Dr. Petrovich is on an underground cell. I see. With fucking cards, open the stupid door. Open up because I'm dying here. What the fuck? I accidentally put down some lines on the floor. Oh my god. Game over! I'm taking a little break to eat a snack because my brain is not working. Ow! My neck just popped. The fuck? What? Hold on. I thought you cracked a tooth. Wait, did you hear that? Or did you just... Oh, were you just confused about my scream? You heard it? What the fuck? You made a loud crack like someone broke your neck? Oh my god. Jesus. What the fuck was that? Crunchy bones. So what if it was my neck? Crunch. Why am I so bad? How do you deal with enemies? You don't! That's the fun part. Will they never stop coming? Oh my god. I'm about to kill an entire country. Card 5. Ammo. What the fuck? The guys who sent in the room keep dying instantly, so more guns. It's almost as if they're being shot. Back. What the fuck? Let me be, Jesus Christ. the fuck? Wait. Wait, why did I come back here? I'm stupid. This elevator only goes down. Oh my god. What kind of Looney Tunes room was that? This entire thing is Looney Tunes. What if? Fuck. Oh my god. Sleepy. I feel asleep. What about that? Shit. Okay, we're not going that way. That's from the NES board? Oh my god. I'm saved. Use a compass to cross the desert. What the fuck do you mean? What desert? This is Schneider. Your compass is on floor 2. Over. What do you mean? Sleepy. We don't bother the sleepy guy. He's just sleepy. He doesn't need this. Hey, what are you doing? I don't think you can actually do this, but... Oh, never mind, I'm stupid. Below. What the fuck? What? That guy, he's cheating. What the fuck? You know what? I'm glad I didn't continue playing this last time. I think I would have gone crazy. Oh, I'm here. For some reason. For some reason. Wait, I... It was a reference? To what? We found Grey Fox? Not yet. Have I been here yet? Does this one use another card? Jesus. Crazy! Oh, get the fuck out! Ooh! I'm saved! The water channel goes to building 3! Building 3? Guys, we are class 4! Yay! God damn it. Stop looking this way! Elevator to hell. That's a song on loop? Oh my god. Me. 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 So I'm guessing that's so weird that there was one door you could open and it was just with a guy. Stupid elevator that only goes one way. Can I have like blocks? Can. Do you shoot any of the guns in this game? What? What are you asking me? Ow! He kicked me! No. Oh, gone. In this economy. Grenade launcher? In real life? Fuck. Wrong button. Gonna... What the heck? What the heck is wrong with these doors? Stop kicking me! What's wrong with me? Why do I feel like everything? Hit me. Oh wait, I've already been here. Stupid. Eh? Whoa. Normal sounds. There we go. What the fuck? That's just ammunition though. Right. I get to stock up on my munition now. Stop eating me. I mean, to be fair, I've been at a shooting range once, but no, they do not have grenade launchers. Nor grenades at all. For that matter. Is there anything here? Can I get inside? No, my keys, they do not work. Posture check. Fine. Machine gun? Jesus. Blah. Who are these fucks? Why are they here? Actually. Hi, this is Diane. The Arnolds. Arnolds! Gliding the doors can be destroyed. Get away! Terminators! Ah, fuck. I don't remember if I've been here before and what I've tried. Open the door! You freaks! Why did they give me key 5 and it doesn't open anything? Can I play a retro game with bad memory? What do you mean? What is that question? Wow. Ow. Freaking Arnold's. The only thing that's what I didn't do yet, I think, is the basement? Oh, fuck this. Hey, Sleepy! This is Schneider. There's a gassy area in here. In there. Over. Schneider! Yeah, you already told me. You don't need to tell me twice. Yes. There's a Taco Bell nearby. Ah! There it is. Wait. I wonder. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. So many doors. Oh, hello. I'm saved. That's it? Not even information for me? How do you want to get out of here? Like, I'm not going to help you. I'm busy. I'm busy. You just get the satisfaction of saving a life? I mean, I guess. Oh. You know what? We will touch all of the freaking walls. Why the fuck not? At this point... I love punching walls. Why are you guys checking my posture all the time? Hydrate, I will, thank you. Oh, whoops. It was my accent. I'm stretching. Ah, thank you for the stretch. But when you get bored, you slouch. What? What do you know?
I see you're trapped in my gay and stupid maze again.
That's true. This is not scared the absolute shit out of me. I'm saved. Only way off this floor is to use the north elevator. I know. Listen, I know. Everything in this place sucks ass. I guess I'm not napping now. You're not napping. No naps for you. Which key opens this? Couldn't you guys have just color coded these or something? I don't know. Oh, hello! You're trapped! Fuck! The real Dr. Petrovich on floor 2! Die, Foxhunter! Well, I sure died. But... goodbye, whoever the fuck. Ooh! Card 6! Oh god. Hold up. I'm still checking out all of the floors. If you think card 6 is cool, what do you think? Stop it! I don't think that card 6 is cool. I just think it's cool that I actually found one. Card stop at 20. Stop it. Open up. For the walls. Wow. Food? For me? Wow. Now I need to farm food again. Yeah, fill my pockets with food. With all of these cans of whatever the fuck. Okay, I want to hear theories. What do you think is inside those cans? This is a very important question. You alone is ensuring that the soldier on this base will starve? Yes! That's all you get. For throwing coals at me. That doesn't make sense. Unga Bunga get more canned liver? Liver pate? Ah. Would make sense, I suppose. I never ate any of that. My brain was always against it. Fat and peas? Ooh. Cheesecake? If only. Oh, you can only get 12. A lard and beans? Oh my god. I don't want that. Are those the ones that are like hard as fuck and can break your bones, your teeth? There's nothing else here, is there? Clack clack. Why are you clacking? What the fuck? Baby. Next critical information? What kind of information? Ow. Munition. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. What card will open this stupid door? I wonder. Which one of those? Ah, here we go. Uh-oh. I don't have light. Hi, this is Diane. How are you? Be careful of pitfalls. Bye. Be sure not to fall into holes. Goodbye. Thank you, Diane. This is Schneider. The flashlight is on floor 1. Oh my god. Why do you not have a flashlight? You think that's some basic equipment. This is Diane. Remember to drink 8 glasses of water per day. Oh my god. Ow. This freaking maze, man. There's also dried peaches in a chocolate drink. I know there's a lot of different freaking Kool-Aid drinks. South African ration of chicken biryani? Chicken. I was taken out the back and shot for the spawns. What the fuck? You see this icon for the plastic explosives? Ignoring this blue part, it looks like a chicken thigh. Oh, what the fuck am I doing? Very well. Plastic. Fantastic. I don't need that actually. I might take more explosives though. 2025 versions? What's in those? Chimkin. That's more gray with the red bit. Stop being picky! Why are you nitpicky? I'm fire trooper, I will roast you. Sure, what? What the fuck? Stop roasting me. Oh, I'm a tank, I'm scared of nothing. On the guy's side. Did you dress up as a fire trooper for Halloween? Binocular mode, oops. Wait, I'm busy fighting wolves. I'm back here, guys. Fuck it! Whatever. Wait. Not this way. Japanese wall humping. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh my god. Would I think of this sort of stealth game could be fun? Could be. Seriously? That's what I came here for? I hate this. I hate my life. Have I been here? Because I don't remember. Oh, I haven't. Flashlight! There we go. Flashlight. Woohoo! I don't know what I'm doing, by the way. Ignore me. Back to basement we go. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Leave me alone. Stealth is boring and fighting is fun. I don't mind stealth. I kinda like stealth games, to be honest. Meal components, main meals, and beef pasta, chicken curry, vegetarian options, instant high protein porridge with a choice of drinks like instant coffee, tea, or a nutritional shake, mommy biscuits, energy bars, fruit bars, raisins, and various sweets. Processed cheese, peanut butter, and noodle snacks. Noodle snacks? What the fuck is a noodle snack? Entree? Wait, why'd I go here? Whee! Whee! Oh, the trap didn't work this time. My primal hunter instincts, like big club and loud noise. Oh god. Almost fell. Instant ramen noodles after you break them up, but before you put the hot water in? What the heck? I have the fresh flashlight. It's Schneider. I know, you already told me, what the fuck. Hi, this is Diane. How are you? Be careful of pitfalls. I like pitfalls. I need to punch some walls. Punching walls makes you feel better. Him. Stop calling me. You already told me that. Ba-ba-dum. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Ba-da-ba-dum. Jesus. Fuck. I messed it up. God damn it. I panicked and I failed. A call was Diane asking you out on a date? Well, I'm kinda busy right now. I'm looking for walls. For walls? For hidden doors. I'm not looking for walls. Not that crazy yet. Ah. So many holes. What is that joke? Where's it going? Hey, what the fuck? Don't tell me I don't have a freaking key card for this. Oh my god. Dog. It's a dog. Oops. Had drinks. Oh. See, that's what this game makes you do. What the fuck makes you does? Makes you do? Just punching walls like a crazy person? Maybe I should stop. Help. You're in the walls! Oh my god, like a rat! Oh. Oh! We're back in the first building. Okay. Help! I know it was on the other side. I'm just checking. Am I stupid? Wait. Why is it so specific? Jesus. Who the fuck are you? Thank you. I'm Ellen, Dr. Petrovich's daughter. Father is forced to make Metal Gear. Please help him soon. Who the fuck are you? Lost in a wall and starting punching walls to find an exit? No, I wouldn't. I would instead just run around, walk around and panic. And try not to get people's attention. What did I say? Metal Gear? Ah! I might have almost exploded a dog. Metal Gear. Oh shit. Ah. Why did I save? Why did I save? My god. What the fuck is this? Stop calling me, I already know. I know. Ooh. Well, Borg. What? Why are we talking about cigarettes? Oh, according to my memory, the brand of smokes he's got. Oh, okay, I missed that. I was confused. Is a reference to the hit game Snatcher? Who is? Thunder came out a year later, so it's the other way around. Get your facts real! Get your facts straight! Oh wow. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. I'm just a box. I'm just a fish with big dreams. Professor Pravola? Pravola? What? Why? Let me feed this man. I'm hungry. Eh? What is this? Kool-Aid? Antidote? Shit. Fuck. Just a box. Cheese. Did you know that cheese is very good? Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing? Hit his balls, hit his balls! Oh, so I did all of that for no reason. I see. The fish has balls? No! Are you saying fish can't have balls? Maybe he wants some. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Alright, more Arnolds. I kind hear the Metal Gear fatigue in your voice. That was just me from the very beginning of today, honestly. I was like, well, we'll try to finish it. We will not try to finish it today. I don't have the brains. What the fuck? Another closed door. You can heal Metal Gear in my voice? Can heal? Can you heal? These freaks! Fucking! Fucking Arnolds. Can I make a hole in this wall? Snake, why are you running down? Stop it. I'm not pressing any buttons! Stop it! Oh my god, fuck. Well, this is what you get. For being a piece of shit! You could just watch a long play at 2 times speed for the same effect. What do you mean? Merchant accuracy doesn't give you points this game? My goodness. Like, what the fuck? Why do you keep running? Why do you keep running in the walls? Oh my god, finally he stopped. Right ear Metal Gear playthrough. What? Controller drift is incredible. I think it's because if you save with a button pressed, then it gets stuck that way. But that's just my theory. Oh my fuck. Are you guessing with skill issue? I know, but I didn't allow. Oh, hello. I'm Dr. Petrovich. Metal Gear is 100 floors below ground. Of building 3, 20 kilometers north of this building. There's only one method to destroy Metal Gear. Set plastic bombs on them thinly armored legs. The sequence is R R L R L L R L L. What the fuck is this? What sequence? Do you want me to put plastic explosives on right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, what the fuck? I will. Don't worry, I have written down all of the frequencies too, so like this doesn't really surprise me much. But what the fuck? Do you have to use so many explosives? Jesus. I forgot the rest. Anyway, set 16. What the fuck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He forgot one! The Arnolds have the card to exit building 2. They can be destroyed with a rocket launcher. I haven't lied to. I'm out here. Fuck! Sorry. I didn't save? Oh my god. Fuck. I am Arnold. I hate my life. So it's just like if you get the last one or not, I guess. Like, what if I fuck up the sequence? Do I have to do it all over again? Can you say rocket launcher like a metal slug? I don't know, what the fuck does that mean? Rocket launcher? What the fuck? Why are we launchering? You fool! Oro. Oro. Ah. God damn it. So many closed doors. Oh. What the fuck do you mean? Is that supposed to be empty or is it like a hidden door somewhere? Whatever the fuck the hell? Arnold, what kind of car do you have? I can't kill. Oh my god. Missile! You! Wee! What? Wait! Rocket launcher. Not a missile. It's a different thing? Why is it a different thing? What the fuck do you mean? Where the heck is that rocket launcher? I know, but like... it could be the same. Hold on. If I go in here and I call, will I actually get any answers? Ah, this is Schneider. A secret passage leads from the southwest of the basement to building 1. I've already found that, you stupid fool! Wait, there's just roof after this. What the fuck? Where's the rocket launcher? I might end this here for today because I don't have the brains anymore, and there's still a bit, I think. Hold on, let me see. How much more is there? Wait, actually. Oh, wait. I think I might actually be quite close to the end. Hold on. Let me see. What the fuck? No. This will be it for the day. Next time we're going to finish this game and play something else. To fill the time, but yeah, I don't have the brains. I'm so tired, I don't know why. Goodbye, game. You pissed me off today. It started with me getting lost, and then only other. I won't play Deus Ex because A, Deus Ex is really long, B, I've played Deus Ex already, and C, there's so many other games I need to play. I closed because I literally just loaded before. tabbed out to the window, so yeah. But yeah, now I'm sleepy, and I will see you guys some other time. I don't know when yet. Maybe on Sunday. Maybe I'll see you on Sunday. I don't know. I won't be live tomorrow. I'll be live on Saturday. Because we will be playing a game with Sajini again. It's gonna be fun. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And meanwhile, I'm just gonna rest. I'm just gonna get some sleep. Because yes, my brain. Snooze is making a Lego stream and I didn't know. Oh my god. That's where we're going, guys. And yes. See you next time. See you on Saturday. Goodbye.